I can very clearly remember Gary Player making a quote 30 odd years ago that there'll be some basketball player or whatever, 7 foot tall, an athlete, will hit the ball 400 yards. But, you know, he's right in his words now. I mean, a little guy like Rory McIlroy will fly at, you know, 320, and there has been known to be 360, 400 yards, but not flying it that far, but accumulating up to about 400 yards. So it is happening.
I think there should be a tournament ball. This idea that the manufacturers will be so negatively affected is utter nonsense. You like a Titleist, you like a Callaway, you like, you know, a Nike. You'll play whatever ball you want to play, and I'm all for trying to make the game easier for the amateur golfer to enjoy. It's about enjoyment of playing the game. So big-headed drivers, balls that go a long way, anything that makes the game easier for them, great. For professional golf, which is like 0.01% of the world's golfers, in my view, the best golfers of all time are artists. They worked a ball around a golf course. They drew it in, they ran it in, they cut it in. Those golf balls, you know, when I first started, you know, those balls were all balls that you could maneuver, and you had to strike the ball well. If you thinned it, you know, you cut the ball and that type of thing. Nowadays, you look at the world's top 100, you know, the top 40, they're all athletes, bombers that hit the ball absolutely miles, and they're going in with a wedge into every hole. They're going into par 5s with 7 irons.
I am very keen on a tournament ball, yes. Will it happen? I think Nicholas would like to see a tournament ball. Where does it start? How does it all govern? There's a lot of head scratching for a while, but I think that's probably the only way to bring the good solid golf courses back into play again. You know, the long hitters will still be the long hitters, but they won't be as long as what they're doing now. We have to look at the big picture of the game. I think we have to reduce the ball so we don't have to keep looking for more real estate. It doesn't get any cheaper to make long, big golf courses for only 1 week of the year.
I played with probably one of the best drivers of a golf ball in the world, Greg Norman, back in the day in the 90s, early 90s. He'd flush driver 280, and the next best driver would be 270. And you really had to work your way around a golf course. And so there was a talent to that, there was an artistry to that. You go to somewhere like Liberty National, where they played last week in the States. I've been there, it's a huge golf course. Rahm hit driver rescue onto a 600-yard par 5. Yeah, I mean, I'm hitting the ball further now as a 50-year-old than I've ever hit it in my life. There's something wrong there, isn't there?
Yeah, it's a very interesting question because it's more than the golf ball, I think. The new technology, the better shafts, the lighter shafts, the metal heads, they've all contributed to this enormous ball hitting. Now, not everybody can do it, in fairness to the ones who can, but they are hitting the ball excessively long off the tee. What's the answer? Maybe better course design, bunkering it in the right places so the risk is higher for very long hitters, although that seems like you're penalising somebody with an extra talent. It's a very difficult question.
The moment you turn pro, you're playing in regional PGA events or whatever, you have to use a tournament ball. Do you restrict it to the main tours of the world, European Tour, Asian Tour, PGA Tour? But I think there's an argument to say that it could be just a professional ball. If you as an amateur wanted to try it, you can buy it.
You know, it's something that has to be tackled, because I remember when you read the old books, and one of the greatest players of all time was Sam Snead. And when I read about Sam Snead and he was hitting a 5-iron 160 yards, well, they're hitting wedges that. Now, Sam was the best swinger, the strongest guy out there. So you can see the change. It took him a 5-iron to hit it 160 yards. Now they're hitting it with a wedge. You can't tell me that they're that much stronger than Sam was.
I don't mind splitting the rules between the pros having a pro ball. It's not really that important to me, the golf ball. What I think is a bigger deal, excuse me for digressing here, is the size of the driver, which they've missed. Because driving back in the day, when I was winning my county amateur, I had a piece of wood on the end of a stick. Driving was bloody hard. It was really difficult skill, and it was a skill that not many could master. Now, I go out with a driver the size of a dish plate on the end of a bit of, graphite, and it's easy. Driving the ball is so easy. You don't see hardly any bad drivers out anymore. There's no snap hooks, there's no stuff. It's so easy compared to what it used to be. It used to be a real art to drive the ball, and that's been lost. So I'd rather go that way. The golf ball, I don't really have a view on it.
I honestly don't think it's necessary. To my mind, if you set the golf courses up properly, most of the time they don't. They leave the opportunity for bomb and gouge to every professional pretty much. You go to somewhere like Paris National, can't do that, and it showed. So no, I don't think there's a necessity to have a ball for amateurs and professionals. I suppose if you were going to do it, perhaps you might make the ball spin more, because the harder you hit it, the more it spins, so then it's less controllable. I think that's a sad day when they can't set the courses up properly. You need to grow the rough in and if necessary fertilise them to get it so that it is about hitting fairways. A lot of the pros hate it because it takes their best weapon, the driver, out of play. So no, I don't think it is necessary. I think we've talked about this for many years, and I don't think anyone can really make a final decision on it either way, but I think it would be a mistake. You've got to do redesign, and St Andrews is a good example. They don't want to ever put a new bunker on it. Well, okay, sorry, but that's the way of the world these days. If you can't push the tees back far enough, and I think that's a bit sad as well, then you either got to grow some rough or you've got to start putting new bunkers in. To my mind, I think that's sad if you can't put a new bunker in or two. Redesign is part of history. I mean, we've just got to keep doing it, and then you can still play the great golf courses without having to make them 8,000 yards, in my opinion. I mean, Augusta still stands the test of time because they've got super fast greens and they've got the perils of water and trees and bunkers, and the green zones are fantastic. It's a wonderful, wonderful place to play golf and will stand the test of time, even though they have stretched it from when I first played in '92. When I then played it in 2004, it was a completely different animal.